everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If it is your first time here, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Before we get into the video, I want to encourage you all to subscribe to my channel. I am on my way to 100 subscribers. Yes, I'm celebrating the small victories. And if it is that you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If it is that you think it's interesting enough to share, then share it with someone else, alright? And of course, you can always leave a comment down below. As you can see from the title of today's video, this video is probably better placed in Halloween time, around about October, but hey, I am not waiting until October to share this story. So, the year is 2003. Yes, 20 years ago. And I was an excited graduate student at the University of the West Indies in my fitness prime, jumping up and down and doing all sorts of things. Yeah, I decided to combine my love for the outdoors and in particular hiking with my studies. So I ended up doing a thesis on trees and forests in Jamaica. If I can find the document, I will put a cover of a picture of the cover and title of my thesis, right? Anywho, so before I even continue into this video any further, Howard Beckford, big up yourself, aka Chigga. He was so instrumental in helping me to get my data and pushing me up the hill on some days, because remember me tell you, we'll go through some ravine and go over some stone and tree root. I am happy I did that kind of stuff when I could, because I don't know if my body would allow me to do that now. Anyway, so we are on the Long Mountain Range. Now, just to give you a little bit of geography, right? The Long Mountain Range is in the southern part of Jamaica, straddling part of Kingston and St. Andrew. It's the mountain that you will see when you're coming from the airport and heading into town. It will be the mountain range on your left-hand side, right behind Kingston Harbour, right? If it is that you're coming from the airport. Now, Long Mountain at that time was easily accessible from UWI, because across from the UWI main gate was our entry point. Of course, now, modern day, 2023, right across from the university main gate is now the university's regional center, so you can't just walk, across the road and onto the mountain. But at the time I was doing my studies, I could do that. We saw evidence of subsistence farming, that is small scale farming for people's personal use. On the farms we saw, we saw sorrel, so that would have given me some time a year, right? We saw sorrel, we saw red peas, we saw callaloo. One instance, we saw in other sections of the mountain, would have seen where people had cut down trees to make coal. There was a whole lot. That is all well and good, right? And just to give you an idea of the type of scenery that was there, and really and truly, because of how long ago this took place, we didn't even have phones with cameras, y'all. So you're going to have to trust my description, right? There are these tall, magnificent trees. I remember specifically seeing for the first time huge neon green lizards with razor edge, with spines and along their back. We saw evidence of what would have been a waterway, all sorts of things that you'd imagine in a forest. So we were there for hours on end, right? The part that got me, well, there were two things that got me in particular. So one day we're there, we're doing our measurements. Of course, we're trying to identify trees that we could, in the cases that we couldn't identify, would have taken a leaf sample and have a botanist identify it. Patrick, may his soul rest in peace, he literally could identify. You give him one leaf and he tells you what the plant is. So, yeah, we're doing our regular stuff, right? Measuring diameter at breast height, trying to identify the trees, doing the counts within a specific plot area. And then there was a particular week where we started hearing explosions. Now the explosions were far away enough for us to realize that we weren't in immediate danger, but we were still able to hear it and know that it is within our vicinity, if you understand what I'm saying. Now, these explosions were earth shaking, literally earth shaking. And now, as I realized, they would have been doing the blasting to establish the foundations for the houses that are now the Long Mountain Country Club. Yeah? That was frightening because my studies would have taken place after the whole 9/11 incident. So, everybody is still a little bit on edge because you don't know what's happening. You don't know if it's a plane flying into the mountainside. You don't know if it's some being dropped up. So there was terror. There was terror in this activity. The part that freaked me out was when we continued going further along the hillside, because of course, if I am establishing any credible data, then I need to have a good amount of surface area covered and assessed. There was a particular set of plaques that we had gone to that were near to the crest of the hill, and of course we know that is near to the crest because we wouldn't be seeing any other mountain range or anything else higher than us. There'd be more breeze, less humidity, etc. Now, when I tell you, and I'm actually getting goosebumps thinking about this again, you ever have a feeling when you step into an area that there is something else there, like another presence there? That's the feeling that I got, and I mentioned it to a colleague. I say, "Oh, this feels spooky," and then we say, "Yeah, it feels spooky too, but maybe we're just sweating so much, and because the humidity is less and there's more breeze, the sweat is cooling on our skin and we're feeling cold." I said, "No, I think of that, but let's work with that." Yeah, we came to an area, guys, where we saw nine. I remember I counted nine rectangular heapings of stones. Hear my voice I shake? Jesus. And the first thing I was like, oh, we're on a gravesite. No, nobody can convince me that it's not a gravesite, because upon investigation, and we walked up, of course, these rectangular mounds have been there for years. Some of the stones had moved away from the corners, tree roots were growing through some of them. They're there for a while, right? There was one particular grave, I'm gonna call it a grave, that the coroner had, the stones had moved enough out of the corner for us to be able to see in there. And I swear to you, I saw what would have been a human bone, because there's no stone, I think, that would have that shape and length. We were not going to investigate by moving the stones because, as I said, you felt this presence, and there was a time when, like, there was no breeze, like it was just super still, and I'm like, yes, God, see ya, Dopey, I go take me away. Dopey, I go take me away. My parents are go complain and be upset, so they send them pick me go to school to get a good education. I'm going to go bush and last. Yeah? It was so surreal. And of course, we didn't have flashlights because, of course, all of my data collection would have been done in the day, right? So it's not like we're going at night and would have a flashlight to be able to, look in. But yeah, there are sites there. That day felt like time stood still. I honestly don't remember when we came back down. It kind of felt like we floated down. And I think because we respected the space, the spirits that were there guided us that day. Because believe me, Long Mountain has another reputation of being the hideout for criminals. But I won't get into that in this video, because we had an occurrence once where we thought we were the only people on the hillside, and we heard the scurrying of persons nearby. They were clearly in a hurry to go where they were going, And because me ever laugh and talk, I stopped because I'm like, oh, they're gonna hear that there are other people here. We stopped. Yeah, but that's another story for another time. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really am happy that YouTube is here as a platform for me to share my experiences as a university student and just life in general, because I honestly believe that there is a scope for learning from others. I have benefited from that pretty much all my life. I realized that there are some mistakes, learning opportunities that I did not take up simply because of the fact that I was surrounded by older people and I listened to what they had to say and decided to take my life another path and not experience certain things, right? There are some things in life that you do not need to experience yourself. Trust me on that. So, with that, I'm gonna end today's video. Thank you so much for your time, for your attention, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.